Hi, everybody.
Hi.
We're here at a very quiet green school today. We are piloting our distance learning new platform this week, and then we'll be on holiday for 2 weeks, and then returning to our distance learning platform for a little while. I hope you're all safe and well and doing the best you can in these uncertain times. My name's Jennifer. I'm half of the admissions team. And we're joined here today by our head of learning, Pak Sal.
Hi everyone, how are you? Let's start by a little bit of me, and then we'll get on to you after that. I've been at Green School for 7 years. I'm a father of children here at the school. I'm from Australia. I moved away from Australia, away from a traditional education system. For me, it was a no-brainer when I saw the John Hardy TED Talk and compared what I was doing in my education practice, where I wasn't happy with how it was turning out, and I wasn't happy with even sending my own kids there at that time, designing integrated sustainability units, teaching real teaching. When I saw and learned about Green School, it was a really easy decision for me to come to Green School. I believe the planet needs, more so even today, the last month, it's even more apparent that the world needs an education revolution. We need to get out of the time capsule that education's been in while the rest of the world has been changing so fast. So I came to Green School as a maths teacher. I taught maths and science predominantly. I came out of a leadership position but was happy to return to the classroom and improve my teaching practice. And I love the opportunity of teaching sustainability units, teaching community-based, project-based learning, things, thinking outside the box and how we can teach numbers, the magic of numbers, not just teaching maths. I love the gardener in the back. Hello, Boo. Green School's a really special place for me personally and professionally. It's challenging me in a way and providing opportunities to be part of an education revolution, like I said, that I know that we need. And I feel that having experience in the teaching team, knowing what it's like to live here, to work here on the ground in the classroom, and then I spent 2 years running the middle school as the middle school learning neighbourhood head, and gave me a good opportunity to get my admin and my leadership skills going again. And now 6-7 months into the principal's job, the head of teaching and learning, I feel like I'm in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, there have been some really positive changes in the last year, and Pak Sal is really being an exemplary leader for our school. So we're all very happy to have him in that role. Although I know the middle schoolers miss him in middle school too.
Yeah, everything needs a revolution sometimes. I think me moving out of middle school was probably the best thing for them, actually. It's been really nice to see them grow as well.
Yeah. Pak Sal, can you talk a little bit more about our distance learning program that we're piloting this week?
Yeah, definitely. You know, for a school that prides itself and is pushing the boundaries on project-based learning, community service-based learning, skill-based learning, values-based learning, moving to a distance learning program is probably more challenging for us than it would be for a traditional school. If we were going to go and set a distance learning program that was solely based on knowledge-based learning, it would be a lot easier. But we're not moving away from what we believe needs to happen in education in general. We're not moving away from the fact that knowledge isn't necessarily the only thing we need to concentrate on. That skills and values and connecting with communities and real holistic opportunities. So we're not taking our foot off the accelerator in that sense, and that's creating a lot of challenges for us, but it's also allowing us to upskill and learn, be lifelong learners ourselves in the ways that we create awesome learning opportunities for kids. But at home, you know, we talk always about real learning, relationship-based, experiential-based, authentic, local to global, and that can't stop just from going online at home. So we're definitely not doing digital e-learning at home. Sure, we're using the online aspect as a way to connect and to support and to communicate, but the majority of the learning experiences are still very real, we hope, And we think that having strong skill-based activities and values-based activities is going to set us apart, because we also know that the rest of the world is doing this right now, and the rest of the world is finding it a challenge. So at Green School, not only do we want to keep going with skills and values, we also see ourselves possibly better at more ready for this. You know, we innovate all the time. We think creatively all the time. We don't have a curriculum that's set. We do messy really well, beautifully messy really well. We adapt. We bend like bamboo over and over again, and we're using those skills, those real life skills, in our teacher practice, in the way that we're developing programs to make the distance learning program as real as possible. So in a way, yeah, it's difficult, it's challenging. We're not going back to a knowledge-based learning curriculum or learning model, but we know we've got the skills, and we know we're going to pull off some things that are really cool.
Yeah, really quickly, we've got, in the response to the question about people hearing us, the majority of you are saying, yes, you can hear us great. I've gotten a few people saying that you can't hear us. It's probably because of your internet connection. But don't worry, we are recording, and you'll get an email from us in a week or so with a link to this recorded session in case you can't hear clearly right now. All right, we've got a question about sports. A lot of people are curious about our sports program here at Green School.
You'll always get an honest answer from me. If you want an Ivy League school that's going to get your kids into scholarships, for sports scholarships, Green School's probably not the right place to be. But physical well-being is as important as any other well-being that we teach at school. Sports are a big part of the life of our students and the teaching programs that we deliver. We have really awesome connections with other schools on islands to interact and to compete in different sports. Yeah, football, I can see the question there. Yeah, football, I'm presuming you're talking about soccer. So yeah, it is a real big part of a lot of our students' times. We do connections with other schools with competitions for soccer, volleyball, basketball, athletics, swimming and cross country. They run through the year, and they're really awesome opportunities. There's other opportunities on the island as well. In particular, like soccer is really popular in Indonesia, and it's pretty hard to drive around anywhere and not see kids playing football, soccer around the place. So yeah, it's not a focus, but it's something that is important to us here.
Yeah, we do also participate in an inter-island competitive sports league. Mm-hmm. We are, I would say, generally a little bit less into the competitive aspect of it. Mm-hmm. But some of our students are very competitive, but we don't have tryouts the way some schools might.
No, it's probably not the same as a lot of other competitive schools in terms of sports. It does change as the teams get older, as the kids get older. And we do have, A and B teams that are probably in the primary that are just A and B, but and moving towards middle and high school where they're probably more A and B.
Right.
But yeah, there's a healthy competition, and Green School does really well considering that it doesn't have that strong focus on the sports. Yeah,
it's the type of environment. I actually coached soccer a couple of years ago here at Green School, and we had players coming in who'd never touched a soccer ball and felt completely comfortable just getting out there and giving it a go. And on the same team in primary, we had students who'd been playing since they were a year old or two, and were super competitive, and we just integrate all interest level, all ability level.
Yeah, I remember coaching a middle school basketball team. We used to do a mindfulness moment before the game.
Yeah.
Which probably doesn't happen in a lot of competitive sports, that we sit around and get mindful with each other. So.
Right. Okay. Can you talk about our school ethos?
Well, the school is very much mission driven. I suppose that's what you're asking, really. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We're creating a new model of school, so rather than call ourselves a school, we'd rather think of ourselves as a community of learners. And it's not just a catchphrase. We believe that schools and learning programs need to be places where we're all learning. So teachers, students, parents, outside members of our community, and we provide as many opportunities for those real learning opportunities. So we're a community of learners where you don't just drop your kids off at the gate at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock and pick them up at 3, that you're part of the community. We have adult learning centres, we have other awesome opportunities to connect with the community and access the most amazing amount of the potential of parents and local and international that can add to the program. So it's a community of learners. And we believe that making is a really important part of that mission, that ethos. But we're not just preparing students later to do something. We're not just teaching them and giving them skills that they can use later when they grow up. We believe that students, given the right support, the right skills, mentoring, can make a difference now, and can use and access and utilise their information that they're learning now, rather than just saying, look, here's something that you might use in the future. We want our students and our whole community to be change makers right now. So we're making the world sustainable. So sustainability comes into it, embedded across the learning programs in the majority of learning experiences. I can't think of anything better to teach than a sustainable future. So a community of learners making our world sustainable is really important and defines us from the way we interact with other communities, the way we interact inside our communities, the way our learning programs are delivered. It really sums up who we are. So I'd say, that mission defines us, and it's not just something that goes on a website. It's something that we live and we work every day, all of us together.
Yeah, very true. We're not perfect. We're constantly evolving and growing and trying to get better at what we do.
We're definitely not perfect. In fact, we like being not perfect.
Yeah.
There's a time that I got used to the fact that things were beautifully messy here often. And after you get used to that fact and put away your sort of anxiety about not being in control or always having new things to do, new amazing opportunities to implement, the next level of that is actually getting to the point where you're promoting and almost being really happy that we're not perfect.
Yeah.
And it's part of the realization of when we're trying to create a new model of learning, knowing that we're not going to be able to create a perfect new model straight away.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's part of the beauty of the place.
We say 70-30. 70% of this place is set, and we like that 70%, but 30% is able to evolve and change, add, innovate. And that 30% is really powerful, especially when you start changing your mindset around what beautifully messy means and how we can just be a little bit more relaxed about new change and things not going to plan all the time.
That's true. That's something that our teachers and students and parents, for that matter, encounter all the time.
Well, check out my Spark talk, Bend Like Bamboo, Adapt. I think it's one of the best things we can teach students. Best things we can all learn and get better at ourselves is just the ability to change in response to change in a positive way.
Yeah.
That's going to be a life skill that, look at us now, adapting
exactly.
again. That's going to be a life skill that defines the future of the planet.
Yeah.
Not just individual happiness, but I'm talking about planetary happiness.
Yeah.
If you can adapt, you're going to be much more likely to have a happy, successful, fulfilling life, regardless of what life throws at you, because we know that life throws us some crazy curveballs sometimes.
Yeah, so true. We have a question about English speaking. We have students from over 40 different countries from around the world, many of them speaking English as a second language, or in some cases having little or no English background at all. And the way we approach this at Green School is a little bit different than at some other schools internationally. We have found over time that students age 3 to 5, so that would be our early years program, can come into the school with little or no English and adjust very quickly. Because it is a play-based curriculum with less focus on academics at that age, students are engaging with each other, with their teachers, just playing, having fun in the environment, and so they are able to pick up on English skills very easily and very quickly. It's a little different for every individual student, of course, and it depends on how much English is used at home as well. But typically, our early years students adjust fairly quickly to English. For students who are ages 6 to 11, so that would be our primary school years, we do require them to have at least an intermediate level of English because there is more of an academic focus there, and if they're coming in with no English, then it can take them, months longer to adjust to the school and have a more difficult time. So we now offer what we call Green School English, and that's a program for students ages 6 to 11 with little or no English skills, and so those are taught in 6-week blocks. And so student, depending on the need, they can enroll for 1 or 2 or more blocks up to a full semester of learning English, and then those students are given priority in enrolling in Green School Bali the following semester, assuming they've met behavioral expectations and are growing in their English skills. And then for middle school and high school, so that's over age 11, we really do need students to have an intermediate to advanced English level. We offer some English support at that stage, but again, we've found that they really do need to have that basic English, at least intermediate level of English. And there's so many online programs that they can do and so forth. So before applying, it would be important to have that.
Yeah. Hey, the cool thing about the Green School English is that we've got some proven, really awesome examples of students doing units or a semester in there and then integrating into the current year into our learning programs. We also see that that there's an opportunity for Green School English students, lots of opportunities for them to integrate into existing parts of the program. I know that they've come into middle school Jalan projects, they've created their own arts electives in middle school as well, so it's not a separate program in itself, it's closely linked. And we like to think that the primary school in itself, that program, lends itself to being able to integrate into specific parts of the program.
Very true.
That gives a real Green School experience without really being embedded in the actual Green School Bali program.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, they're making friends, they're adjusting to the environment, so it's an easy transition from Green School English to Green School Bali. There are a few questions about curriculum. Can you talk about what our curriculum looks like?
There's a lot of information on the website about our curriculum. First thing to say is, yes, we have an awesome curriculum that's documented. A lot of people think that a new model of learning, it's only 12 years old, we're just running around the gardens and nothing's sort of set in jelly, but we've got an amazing curriculum. We've had to rethink how we look at curriculum over the past 12 years. There was a time when we didn't really have a Green School curriculum. We've looked at international curriculums throughout the years. They don't allow themselves to transfer into a Green School model in terms of what we're looking for. So we've gone back in the last 5 to 6 years and done a lot of work on documenting our own curriculum, so that the what is being taught at Green School is highly developed and almost to the lesson point, just like any other curriculum around the world. The part that people need to sort of realise when you're talking about curriculum, it's only half the story. It's really only a third of the story. When you design your own curriculum, you've also got to redesign your pedagogical belief and have a really strong pedagogy around how you deliver the what of your curriculum. So we believe that not only the curriculum is really strong, well documented, world's best practice, related to a new model of learning, skills, values, knowledge, project-based learning, community service-based learning, that all those things are rich and involved and embedded in the curriculum, but our pedagogy around how we teach is just as important about what we teach, because we know students, the most important thing really is about how, it's not really what they learn, but how they learn. It's not really how or what they get taught, it's how they get taught. And so our pedagogical belief based on the real statement is really important when talking about the curriculum at Green School. So we talk about our learning experiences needing to be relationship-based. They need to be holistic and student-centered. They need to be experiential. We know that students learn by doing. They need to be authentic and connected to the real world. And they need to start local and think global. So our pedagogy and our curriculum, we've done a lot of work over the last 5 to 6 years, documenting and developing awesome curriculum, amazing learning opportunities, but really with a real strong focus on how we teach rather than just the what.
Yeah, yeah, good point. We get a lot of questions about waiting lists, and basically the way we handle applications is we process them as they come in. So there's an online application that everyone fills out, and you upload specific documents, pay an application fee. Once that is complete, then we start processing. That means that I'll review the application and send it to the relevant learning neighborhood head, who will take a closer look at it. And then we put students onto a waiting list. We are quite full at the moment, so our process is that new applications go on the waiting list, and then as spaces become available, as current families leave, then we can fill those spaces. So at this point, you're welcome to apply at any time. We just went through, or we're actually in the process of going through a big round of new admissions, but we'll continue with that process. So yes, to answer the question, yes, we have waiting lists across the school, but that's okay. We still want you to apply, and we can't give really specific percentages of what your chances are of your child being admitted, but we do our best to find families who we think will be a good fit. Okay, the next question is about parent involvement.
Totally. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Community of learners.
Yeah.
You know, the parents are just as important. We have so many opportunities for parents to embed themselves, co-teach, provide opportunities for new units, facilitate. There's parents that come and work in our iHub and volunteer that way. There's parents that mentor students that are doing bigger projects. Parents like Alexander Cousteau, who's still on the island, who's our environmentalist on campus at the moment. Like I said earlier on, it's not just a place you drop your kids off. We want you to be involved in the community, and if we're a community of learners, that's the parents too. We need you involved in this, and joining the Green School families. It's really important to know that it's not just something we just throw around. This is serious. We're all learning here together.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a chance for parents to join a school again. Most parents who come here actually say, "Hey, I wish I could time travel back," you know. And I do. I see what my kids are doing, and I think, "Wow, I wish I went to a school like this." You know, I look at my grade 12 year level. I did like English, Maths 1, 2, Physics, Chem, and I look at what kids at high school here are doing. I go, "Wow, can you imagine if I was able to come to a school like this?"
Yeah.
Hopefully I'd still be right here, right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really amazing opportunity for parents to embed themselves in an amazing learning community. And it's not just accepted that we want parents involved, it's expected.
Yeah. It's true, and parents get involved in lots of different ways, either on the classroom level, sports, yeah.
Projects, mentoring.
Sometimes the board level.
Yeah, definitely.
And then oftentimes like-minded parents will get together to start a movement of some sort, you know, help with community events and all sorts of things. Sal and I are both parents, but I think it's sometimes torture since we work here. We don't get to participate in all the fun things that most of the Green School parents get to do. So many workshops and yoga classes and everything going on all the time. It looks like fun. After school activities, yeah. I lost it, but there was also a question about after school activities. So can you talk about some of the after school activities?
Yeah, we have a strong after school activity program. A lot of it is local based with local artists and local providers of different things. You know, I know Mapundagon mud wrestling and archery has been a mainstay. Capoeira, a lot of our sports run through after-school activity program. Again, it's an opportunity for parents to come in and give something back to the community. And it's another really nice way for students to integrate vertically with other students that they don't normally hang out with. We've got amazing resources in the media centre, in the iHub, work of space, biolabs, things like that just lend themselves to some awesome opportunities for after-school activities. I find that, as a parent again, that a lot of the time my kids getting home at 4 o'clock after not doing an after-school activity, they're pretty exhausted anyway.
True.
And so when they do an after-school activity and they don't get home till 5 or 5:30, then they're super tired. So that's really nice to be able to feed them and put them to bed.
Yeah, true. Yeah, the days are long here.
Long.
It's hot. There's we have a big campus, so kids are moving around a lot. We're all walking around up and down hills, and by the end of the day, we're all pretty exhausted. So even though there are incredible after-school activities to choose from every week, we sometimes it's good to have downtime too. Okay, there's a question about a concern about a student entering in grade 1 who's just starting to learn reading and writing, numbers and alphabets, and that's fine. We have students coming from lots and lots of different educational backgrounds. Some of them come to us having already learned how to read and write by grade 1, and some of them have almost no exposure. And the way we're set up to differentiate within classrooms, that's a big part of what teachers do. And in primary school in particular, we have students coming in with a wide range of educational background, and that's fine. It's not anything to necessarily be concerned about.
My kid Taj, he was the early years program doesn't focus really on numeracy and literacy skills to start with. It's magic and it's community and it's play based. And I've seen my son just this year, Nirvana, go into grade 1 and really want to start learning to read and wanting to learn his numbers and how to play around with them. And you see the learning when they're at that stage, that grade, that sort of age 5 or 6, turning 7 even. That motivation comes and they learn so quickly. His reading level just every week changed. Just because he was ready for it.
Exactly.
And it wasn't like it was a massive focus and expected that he had to get to a certain level in grade 1. But I've seen him really grow exponentially almost in terms of literacy and numeracy. And I'm really happy that my kids were able to start school in a play-based way and know that school is supposed to be fun.
Exactly.
And then they can move into those more higher order thinking skills of reading and writing and playing around with numbers.
Yeah, exactly. And in grade 1, it's still fun. They're still doing fun. Lots and lots of hands-on learning and really fun activities. And the difference is it's grade 1 at Green School is when they really start sitting down and practicing those proficiencies in a very intentional way. Whereas in early years, they're introduced to it mostly through play. And arts and drama and music and storytelling and read aloud, lots of different activities. There's a question about project-based learning. Specifically, can you give an example with middle school?
Yeah, I could give a lot of examples. One of the strengths of the middle school program is the ability to change and innovate and create new opportunities that are really cool. We have a lot of opportunities for students to withdraw from either the whole of a learning program for a short period of time, for a 6-week, 8-week block, or just withdraw from a part of the program and then base themselves in a more project-based learning group. So we've got classes. I'll give you a list of classes. Most of them are running right now. There's one called IDEA, which stands for Idea, the Dialogue, Ethics and Action. And they do a community-based, project-based learning. They've recently done some hotel sustainability auditing. which is really cool, on island. And so those middle school students get invited to stay at the hotel and do a sustainability audit and record that data and provide observations and feedback to big hotels, the Intercontinental Group on Bali. There's a mushroom unit happening right now, and we've got an expert who's come in to help a teacher of ours in middle school that are looking at growing mushrooms, and I think they've integrated that with some sort of bug that eats plastic. That's sort of gone off on its own. There's another one called Scope, which is a science, PE, maths unit. So they're coming out of science, PE, maths and integrating that into a wellness program. Now, a lot of our thematics programs in middle school, they're based on the UN Sustainable Development Goals. I know a group that just went to Zumba before the lockdown sort of thing, and have gone off and come back and provided opportunities. They presented to the board Monday this week, I think, presented to the board 5 new ideas on how to improve our school based on their observations from another school that they went to.
Oh, that's cool.
The list goes on and on for project-based learning
It really does.
opportunities, whether it's, we could talk about some project-based learning in maths classes, our literacy classes have got a lot of projects in them, but it's not just something that you integrate into it for an hour in a schedule. It's something that we're allowed to integrate across a whole schedule and make it sort of more meaningful and real. It's definitely not tokenistic.
Yeah.
And when we talk about educating for skills and values again, that's where project-based learning becomes really strong.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, so we're teaching academic skills and the other skills, what we call green school skills. Can you talk a little bit about green schools?
Well, the green school skills, a lot of people talk about 21st century skills. I don't like talking about 21st century skills because they're skills that have brought human civilization through the ages to the point we're at now. It's not like these skills of think creatively, think critically, adapt, solve problems, communicate, collaborate. It's not like they're just for now. In fact, they've been always important in terms of the evolution of humans and the evolution of society. So I like to think of them more as life skills. I'd actually more like to rephrase it in terms of learning skills and values development, and then along the way being able to gather knowledge that's relative to that rather than having a knowledge base. So the focus is really on skills and values, and then we know that the knowledge that comes with it, the information that is normally taught so heavily at other schools, comes along in the process of learning to collaborate or learning to communicate.
Yeah, exactly.
So the focus is as much as possible on skills and values and knowing that knowledge comes along with it.
Yeah.
I learnt a lot when I was at school, a lot of information. They gave me a number at the end of it. That was 85, if anyone's wondering. And now I know that I use probably about 10% of that information. Probably remember about 15% of it, and what's the point? What's the point of just trying to open the heads of young kids and filling it with information that you test them in an exam and give them a number for? We know that skills and values are much more important.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, and there's more and more research showing this too. And I mean, we're not the only school that's doing it.
Not at all.
Doing things differently.
Not at all. I think I just came back from India from a summit with 120 leading educator innovators around the world, and there are a lot of places doing what we're doing here. We're definitely not out on our own.
Yeah, it's exciting. Feels like you refer to an educational revolution, and I think we are very much in the center of that here in Green School.
Yeah, there's a time for revolution as well. There's a revolution evolution sort of cycle to go, where I think a lot of our program, it did take a revolution to happen for us to go, no, we need to do something different. But there's also a time that we need to know, okay, we're doing something different. Let's let evolution, let's let it evolve a little bit slower too.
Great.
We don't want to be changing everything all the time.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. Guys, I need to acknowledge that we're not going to get through everybody's questions today. I'm very sorry.
Wow.
We have a lot of questions. I think we could be here for hours
I
answering
just
them
need
all.
to answer just a bit more succinctly. Get the bell out.
One-word answers from now
One-word
on.
answers, yes.
Can you talk about our digital policy?
The digital policy's gone out the window at the moment.
True.
We don't want kids spending a lot of time on their computers. we've got good policy around that. Definitely our early years, lower primary, even up to grade 5. You know, it's not a lot of technology in that. It's more nature based. As you move through middle school and high school, there's a stronger focus or reliance on technology. It's important for us to realise, well, I know about 3 years ago we had to take a step back and take some of the technology out where we were relying on Google Classrooms a lot and delivering a lot that was digital, and then realising that we're losing a connection point with our kids, and there's nothing wrong with getting a piece of paper and pen out and doing some writing. As a maths teacher, there's no way, even if you are using a computer, to actually learn until you start using a little bit of this as well. So yeah, we use it as much as possible, but I suppose we're trying to find the way to be efficient and best practice around that as well. There's so many cool things to learn using technology, you know, new coding courses, robotics courses, classes that we've got going as well. I think it's something that most educators around the world sort of not just struggle with, but the opportunity for technology and the use of it in your teaching and learning programs is an amazing opportunity, but you don't want to rely on digital mediums too much. You want to keep it real. Yeah.
Great.
I was supposed to just say yes.
Yeah, that was more than one word, Pak Sal. There's a question about becoming a teacher at Green School. I went through 11 interviews. My last one was with you,
Really?
I remember. To get
11?
Yes.
Wow.
And
Yeah, apparently it's harder to get a job here than it is at NASA.
yeah, so we
Yeah, I've saved that email. No, look, we obviously, we're looking for top, awesome educators. Professional practice is really important for us. There are some certain legal criteria that we need to satisfy to actually get you a visa into the country, and that's 5 years minimum teaching experience. But the reality of putting a team together, a lot of it comes down to personality, personal values. Really for me, yeah, you have to be an awesome educator and you've got to be able to tick those boxes on planning and delivery and assessment, but it's just as important, maybe possibly even more important, to be able to be a strong adapter and to be able to be a positive collaborator. And when we design new learning programs and we've got a team, we always know that the new programs that stick, the new programs that become the Green School magic, programs that are co-developed. And so I'd say that, yeah, awesome professionals, but they need to be able to adapt, bend like bamboo, and they need to be able to collaborate. And those are the two really sort of striking personality traits that I look for new teachers here.
Yeah, I think it definitely takes a special person to be really successful here. But thankfully, because it is so hard to get a job here, and we do so carefully screen our teachers.
Yeah,
the ones we have are
is very important.
Oh yeah, that's important too.
We live. It's not just a job. We live for a sustainable future, and so all our staff, all our faculty, sustainability is really important for them. And also just being mindful. We're not attracting traditional teachers to a traditional school model, so we're looking for teachers that want to be a part of something a little bit different.
That's very true. That's a good segue to a question about school. How is our school sustainable, and how do we teach sustainability?
So, how do I answer this?
Yeah.
All these questions you keep asking me, I can't answer this in one word. Yeah, just give me 5 minutes.
Yes.
Well, sustainability is the focus. Like I said before, it's the focus of our mission. It's it's embedded in everything we do. There are a few practical sort of things in terms of educational practice things that we use, some sort of lenses to help us teach sustainability. So the permaculture principles, the UN Sustainable Development Goals. We use a tool called the Sustainability Compass, which brings sustainability into a systems thinking model based on nature, economy, society and well-being. So you can take something quite normal in another school and throw it through one of these lenses, one of these sustainability lenses, and come out with a really strong focus on sustainability. A lot of our thematics and integrated units are all around sustainable action. We get kids out in the garden. We're a wall-less bamboo jungle school here, so we're connected instantly, automatically, all the time, connected to nature, which is really important in terms of the feeling of what it's like to be at green school, where you're not in a box classroom with a few windows and a door, and you might get out into the garden someday. You know, it's part of your classroom. Doing that. We've got a lot of sustainability type programs or initiatives. So we look at a maths sustainability audit that brought a lot of data to us that the high school students used, and then 3 or 4 years later we've got 7 biobuses that are collecting used cooking oil from other businesses around the area and running our buses, school buses, on biodiesel. We know that a year or two ago, I'm looking around for but I think about a year or two ago, after another sustainability audit with some funding from a competition, the OROS funding that we made, and some solar hydropower things, we reduced our carbon footprint by 60% in the space of a year, looking at procurement and the kitchen and different things like that. So we're actively trying to be more sustainable ourselves all the time. How we teach it, is the school sustainable? We've been off the grid a few times. We're pretty close. We're 90 to 100% off the grid. And that's important for us to be. If we're a green school, we need to be green. It's definitely embedded in the majority of the learning programs.
Yeah, definitely is. Yeah, I'd say that it is, as a theme, it really is the focus of our school. That doesn't mean that every single class that every student takes is focused on sustainability, but...
No, it's pretty hard to do, like Algebra 2
Right.
sustainability.
Right.
But there are ways that you can look at exponential graphs of different nature-based things. Viruses, you could be studying virus growth or bacterial growth. But when you think about sustainability, it's important not just to think about a natural sustainability thing, because it's not, everything is connected. So we're talking about economies, okay, so there's a lot of maths and a lot of social science in that. We're talking about well-being, and we're talking about physical well-being, mental well-being, community well-being. We're also talking about societies and how we connect with communities. So sustainability teaching isn't just about a nature-based sustainability, because it doesn't exist on its own. It's a system that's rotating within systems. And so when we talk about sustainability education here, we aren't just talking about nature-based, it's holistic sustainability. And therefore it's a lot easier to embed that and create learning opportunities for real sustainability.
Yeah, good point. And that, I think, also connects to what we want to be as a school, not just an isolated bubble on the island of Bali.
Oh, totally.
Can you talk a little bit about how we fit into the bigger ecosystem?
Yeah, we've got a lot of touch points with our community, and then I suppose they're more than just touch points. They define our community. There's data, there's some really nice numbers. There's 42 local scholars here on local Balinese, Indonesian students on scholarship here. We actively fundraise for that, and we have 400 plus local students come to the school after school hours to do English lessons and sustainability classes. They pay for those lessons by bringing their trash, their rubbish from home, their recycling. Indonesia is an amazing place to live, and Bali especially. The people here are amazing, and we don't want to be an international school that's in a bubble that ignores the opportunities available to us to connect with the community. We see that we've got a role to give to our community, but also to receive from this amazing community that we're in. Whether it's the biobus, or whether it's the Kakachi, the Kuku connection, or the local scholars, whether it's me talking Balinese, us celebrating community events, Balinese and Indonesian community events, we're connected as much as possible, and probably more so than any other international school that I'm aware of, in terms of being connected to our local community.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, our Indonesian teachers, I think, are some
Indonesian
of our...
teachers are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a focus of ours this year and moving forward, is to look at how many opportunities we can upskill Indonesian teachers to an international school level. We've got Indonesian teachers, lead teachers here on campus. We've got Indonesian principals for different learning neighbourhoods. We feel that we've still got room to grow and move in that, but we know that having a focus on Indonesian culture and community is important to us as a school.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we all have so much to learn from each other, and it's been very humbling for me to come here and learn about a new culture and be so warmly embraced, and I don't ever want to leave because of it.
Yeah.
Which is a good segue into our next question. A lot of people ask about transitioning into Bali, and I know it can seem very scary if you're on the other side of the world, thinking about moving to a new country and picking up and starting afresh. But that's what people do here, and there's an amazing community here to support you. We help you with resources, we connect you with people, and you'll quickly learn when you get here that things work out. It's a very warm, welcoming place to be, and there are plenty of places to live. You're not gonna be like competing with other people for a place to live. There are a lot of things to figure out. Definitely, when you get here, you need to figure out what mode of transportation you'll use. You need to figure out where to live, all of that. But we've all been through that process, and there are people here to help you and support you. It's a really beautifully welcoming and supportive environment. So scary as it may seem, especially if you don't know anybody here already, we've all been in that spot, and it works out.
I think Bali, relatively speaking, is quite an easy
Yeah.
place. It's the best of both worlds in a way.
Yeah.
My lifestyle here is twice as good as it used to be in Australia. And I don't live extravagantly, but I live really comfortably, and I'm really happy with sort of being able to scale back and live in a more Balinese sort of way.
Yeah.
There's a lot of support in the community itself in terms of transitioning.
Definitely.
And that's important for people to know, that they do come here and they feel like they're coming here on their own as a family, and there's going to be transition times and times when there's a little bit of uncertainty, but there's a massive community here. Again, going back to this community of learners concept, the community is set up to actually help transition in.
Yeah.
And it's a lovely place to live, Bali.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It doesn't get too hot. It hasn't started raining on us yet. You can still go out and get a nice latte, or you can just go down the road into the local warung and get a Balinese coffee too. So you've got the best of both worlds in a way.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place to live. I mean, it's full of contradictions. There can be traffic, a lot of traffic in certain areas. The island is dealing with pollution issues, as most Southeast Asian countries and cities are dealing with. And there are a lot of things to adjust to.
But that's good.
But
We're talking about adapt here.
That's
every family
the beauty
that
of
comes here does their own upskill on being better at adapting.
Definitely.
And it's a nice change to have to respond to in terms of adapting, and it's amazing to see different families get that out of green school when it's not really implied in the process, but it's actually definitely part of the process of transitioning, adapting.
Very true.
And having a family adapting, and your young kids adapting to new environment, new cultures, new weather, new road rules, new foods,
everything's different.
New friends.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that every green school student, every green school family gets here is an upskill on the ability to adapt.
Yeah, that's very true. So important these days. Unfortunately, we are out of time, and
I wanted to do this.
Oh.
Just once.
I know there were so many questions we didn't get to, and I apologize. We'll have another webinar, another live Q&A April 1st. So, and that will be it'll be morning here, so hopefully that will be accessible to...
Much pressure in the morning.
Yeah, that will be more accessible to people in different time zones.
Do we keep in touch? Can we answer some of these questions online? I'm happy to spend a bit more time sending more information out. If there's 33, 32, or one of you left.
Yeah, we can.
70. What?
Yeah, a lot of the questions are
Yeah, well, there might be
along
too
the
many
same-
questions to actually get back to all at
Yeah,
once.
I know.
But maybe we can
Careful
group
what
them
you
and
offer.
get a
Yeah.
bit more information going. So.
Well, yeah, we'll look through them and we'll put some thought about how we can address them. If you have very specific questions that we didn't cover, just email admissions@greenschool.org. We'll do our best to get back to you. Be patient. We've got a lot of emails coming in every day, but we will get back to you. Thanks so much for joining it, and
Thank you
keep
very
an eye
much.
out on upcoming webinars. We'll have
Yeah, if you want more information, YouTube, we've got great Quest videos.
Yeah, oh,
We're going to have
yes.
Teacher Spark videos out soon. Our Greenstone Grade 12 presentations. If you really want to know what the learning experience can come to, there's some amazing sort of resources online to look for.
Yes.
And in terms of, I know we've run out of time, but in terms of seeing the end result of a Green School student, having a look at some of their Greenstone presentations, which are like TED Talks, an amazing opportunity to see what a Green School education can bring and how it can move a student through life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of information out there on our website and YouTube and things like that. Definitely have a look and keep looking.
Yeah.
Bring
Always
it
something new and exciting going on.
Always.
Okay, thanks Pak Sal, and
Makasih
thank you all
banyak.
for
Thank
joining
you very
us.
much, everyone. Yeah, I'll do this again one more time.